Everyone is writing Baker and the Bucs off the page, but in a league full of unknowns, anything is possible. So I figured it'd be fun to ask the question, what would it take Baker Mayfield and the Bucs to win a Super Bowl?
On first down, Mayfield down the middle, Beckham has it for the touchdown.
Baker has had quite a unique journey to Tampa Bay, because even though he made a name for himself on the next level with Cleveland, a rough 2021 performance was the last straw for his time with the Browns as they sent him packing.
Former Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield is packing his bags and he is headed to the Carolina Panthers.
Early on, many thought that Baker was the savior for what could be a more than underwhelming Cleveland Browns team that had seemed to have lost a sense of identity the past decade. But it turns out that some things just don't work out, and it led to him being traded to Carolina in exchange for a 5th round. Needless to say, times had changed for what was once a Heisman winner and upon that a first overall pick. But no matter the case, the hope was still there that he would rebound with the Panthers, especially considering that his competition was pretty slim.
Seeing ghosts.
With all this in mind, it wasn't much of a shock that Baker was named the Week 1 starter, and through the next few games he did pretty well until a high ankle sprain took him out for a bit, and upon that lost him the starting job to XFL superstar PJ Walker. Eventually he came back in during a blowout against Cincinnati, but by that point the writing was on the wall, and when I say that, I don't mean the team didn't want him. I mean that Baker didn't want to stay, as he requested and was granted his release in early December of that season.
Baker Mayfield's journey in the NFL continues. Quarterback has been claimed off of waivers by the Los Angeles Rams.
Baker was claimed by an LA Rams team that had lost their guy Matty, and so were in desperate need of some help from the Baker man, who crazy enough came in against Vegas only 2 days later and did this.
2nd and 10, Mayfield to the end zone to Jefferson!
You would think that this is when I would say that he had a rough end to the year, but surprisingly enough, Baker put together a solid 850 yards and 4 touchdowns in the 5 games that he played with LA. But the solid performance didn't matter all that much, because with Matty coming back and a desire within himself to be that guy once again, Baker decided to pack his bags once again.
Baker Mayfield signing with the Bucs.
So? A few weeks ago, Mr. Mayfield signed with Tampa Bay and is now getting another opportunity to show that he can lead a franchise to success. And although a Super Bowl appearance in itself seems like a massive stretch, I figured it'd be fun to see what it would take for Baker and the Bucs to win it all. Sorry to stop the video, but since you're here, it would be awesome if you could subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, and comment down below what you think Baker is going to do in Tampa Bay. But anyways, back to the video. Okay, so if you're still here, first and foremost, you're awesome. And second of all, you're probably curious about how this makes any sense. And if I'm being honest, I have no clue why I'm writing this. But anyways, let's just dive in.
Deep drop, Mayfield fires over the middle and making the grab.
First and foremost, the Bucs have easily one of the most solid receiving cores in football, so that alone is an improvement from any spot that Baker has been in quite some time. But there's quite a bit more to this. Tampa Bay also has a top 10 O-line, depth at running back, and a good enough defense to win some football games. But even considering all this, there's still quite a bit riding on how well Baker will play as the potential QB1, and this is where I think people are really writing the Bucs off the page. The fact that he's played on 3 different teams in the past 2 years has to many labeled Baker as a has-been, but in reality, he's coming off a solid stretch in LA, and now has one of the very best receiving units in the league to work with. So I think he'll do a lot better than most people would think, because you gotta keep in mind that the last full season Baker played was in 2020, and that year he had his best all-around performance with over 3,500 yards and 26 touchdowns. And hey, maybe he could do something like that in good old Tampa Bay.
Baker Mayfield into the end zone, wide open man and a touchdown!
Brady put together a similar year to Baker's 2020 performance last season, and they were able to make the playoffs with a bunch of injuries. So if they can stay healthy and Baker does his thing, I don't think a playoff appearance is all that insane. And although all this seems like a decent bit of backing, the biggest reason as to why I think the playoffs are possible is simply because of the division they're in. It doesn't get much more unpredictable than the NFC South, a division full of new pieces and young talent, which gives a veteran Bucs team a pretty dang good chance to do their thing this year. So we've talked about the playoffs, but you read the title and it says Super Bowl. So how the heck is that possible? Well, it all comes back to the fact that the Bucs are in the good old NFC. Outside of San Francisco and Philly, there's not all that much set in stone when it comes to the playoff picture, and that's what we like to call an opportunity. If Baker and the Bucs were in the AFC, this video would not be a thing. But since the NFC is a lot of unknowns, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs slipped in the playoffs, and upon that were able to pull off a few upsets while making their way to the big game. Keep in mind that their defense did this to Kansas City only a few years ago, so they can show up when it counts. It's just that Philly and San Francisco are tough competition when it comes to a potential Super Bowl run.
Struggle of the the snap. Hurts found it, and there's the end zone ahead for another Philadelphia touchdown.
This is where experience kicks in, especially in terms of defense. And I know what you're thinking. They're coming off a 17-point loss to Dallas last year. But let's just say that time heals all wounds. And if they're able to get some momentum near the end of the year, I think they could easily beat a team like that if Baker is able to do his thing once again. If they are able to do that, develop some chemistry, and stay healthy, a win against Philly or San Francisco is not out of the realm of possibility, especially considering the drop-off that usually happens after long playoff runs. If they are able to do all that, and the Bucs defense swamps Mahomes once again, boom, they win a Super Bowl. It's as easy as pie. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this whatever-minute rant about Baker and the Bucs, and comment down below what you think they're going to do next year. Baker Mayfield has been through a roller coaster of a decade, with some very high highs and some very low lows. So even though a Super Bowl run with Tampa Bay seems impossible, you never know what's possible with the Baker man under center.
Mayfield's gonna run it. Touchdown!
Thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, and comment down below what stuff you want next. But anyways, see you all soon, and peace out.